Welcome everybody to the MegaCast. I'm Mario, and I'm here as always with the valiant one, Valiant Karen.
Hey everybody.
All right, Karen, this has been a huge movie week. We've got a lot to get to. The agenda's loaded, but let's start with the biggest story of the week. Let's start with Gem and the Holograms.
Very funny, Mario.
What, you don't want to talk about Gem and the Holograms?
Talk about how it's a ripoff of Hannah Montana? Sure.
So what else is there to talk about?
Well, I don't know. There's a little movie coming out called Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
That's right. We should probably talk about that, huh?
Yeah, we should.
All right, let's go ahead and start the show then.
You're listening to the MegaCast with Valiant Karen and Mega Mario.
All right, Karen, let's jump right into it then. Straight to Star Wars. I loved the trailer. It was amazing. It was 2 minutes and 35 seconds of awesome. It was great. Let me tell you something. There's been a lot of concern, especially after the prequels, the whole trilogy with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman and everything that went on there. That wasn't the best way those movies could have gone down, and I do have my concerns even going forward here with these trilogies that are going to come out now. But from what I've seen in the trailer, I can't wait. It looks amazing. Star Wars is always going to be Star Wars, but this is Star Wars done justice. One of the things that I want to talk about with the trailer is, before we start getting into any kind of breakdown or things like that, I wouldn't say that that's something that we're going to do. We're going to nitpick the trailer apart, and we're just going to say what we think. And the first thing I want to say is that with this trailer is it solicits emotion. If you watch the comments off of YouTube, wherever you saw the trailer, that's what it's doing. It's bringing out a lot of emotion in people. And I got emotional too.
Did you cry?
No, but I was close. There's so much history here. There's so much going on that it really did bring out, emotion in me. And that's saying something for a movie. Watching the trailer, there's a part, I have it here in my notes. I think it's 1 minute and 5 seconds when the Millennium Falcon comes soaring in and the TIE fighters are following it. And they're playing the theme. I think it's Princess Leia's theme. That, again, was a point where I did get emotional, and I'm like, yes, this is it. This is really, really riveting. This is really stirring. And that's the one thing about the music in Star Wars sometimes, is that it does bring out this emotion.
It really does.
It's this classical music that drives it out. So a lot of elements were there. And we'll get into it in just a sec, but we saw pretty much who's going to be the lead in the story. The people who took up a lot of space in this trailer were Finn, John Boyega, Rey, Daisy Ridley, Kylo Ren, who's played by Adam Driver. So we basically, and even Harrison Ford as Han Solo. So we saw a lot of the people who are going to be basically the lead in this film, which is something we'll get into here. But let me stop for a second and let you say, Karen, what you thought of the trailer.
Yeah, no, the trailer was great. It was great to see everybody again. Loved all the characters, especially seeing our beloved old ones. And finally, we got to see Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia just for that moment right there. Yes, there was no Luke Skywalker, but maybe he could have been the hand, that robotic hand that was touching R2-D2 in the trailer. We don't know, but anyway, it was good to see everybody else. I'm loving the new characters so far and everything. The trailer, there are no complaints about this trailer whatsoever.
Yeah, and we're going to get into some of the early success that Star Wars is already having when we talk about pre-sale tickets. But before we do that, I just want to take a step back, because this is something that's a long time in the making, and more importantly, this is something that is kind of difficult. When Revenge of the Sith ended, I thought to myself, okay, that's it. We're done with Star Wars. We're finished. We basically saw the transformation of Vader, and in Return of the Jedi, we saw his redemption. That's it. That's the whole story. We're good to go. But definitely over time, obviously the fans and pop culture in general, that spot that Star Wars occupies in pop culture, it doesn't go away. In fact, the demand gets bigger and bigger. So it is a tricky movie to make for that reason. And so far, out of everything we've seen, and this is what we're all waiting for. We've even talked about it on this show. We were waiting to see if it could meet the hype, and it has met the hype. And this is a movie that came out in 1977, Star Wars, and here we are in 2015, almost 2016. So it's literally almost 40 years in the making. So we take a moment and appreciate how strong these characters are, how important this movie is, and as we're about to get into, judging by the response, just how passionate people are about this.
Very passionate. I'm so happy for J.J. Abrams, too. You know, he's got, a lot to prove. But so far, based on what we've seen in this trailer and the other previous teasers, so far, I think he's done well.
You know what? Yep, and I was going to get into that in just a sec, but we'll talk about it now. That J.J. deserves a lot of credit, and I always liked J.J. I liked what he did with Lost. That's where I first met J.J. Abrams.
Right.
I like what he did with Lost, but what I like about J.J. is the fact that he rebooted another one of my favorite brands, which was Star Trek.
I know you love that movie.
It is. It's one of my favorite movies that's come out recently. It might be one of my all-time greats. The way he just kind of flawlessly said, okay, everything you know still exists and is still there, but we're going to do something different, and we're going to bridge all that, especially the way he bridged it with a character like Spock. It was just a fun movie, Star Trek was. Exciting, it had everything, and it stayed true to the essence of what that franchise is. Ever since the trailer released, it's been Star Wars Mania. And I know you've got some information, Karen, that we went ahead and put up on our site, www.megamovienews.com, under the breaking news section. But I know you've been following this, and you've got the information on it, kind of just how crazy the demand has been for Star Wars.
Yeah, when you mean crazy, you're not kidding. I mean, the pre-sale tickets, they went so fast because of all the high traffic on AMC theaters, Fandango, and even movietickets.com that the websites couldn't work. They had to stop and stall.
There was a lot of lag, right?
Yeah, because so many people were buying, and then as soon as people bought them, they were selling them on eBay for like $400, Craigslist, and there was even one person that bought it, I believe it was on Craigslist, for $2,500 to watch it opening night, to be one of the first ones to watch it.
I don't think I've ever seen something like that now that you mention it. And I know we're going a little bit off of what we plan to say, Karen, but I don't think I've ever seen that before, where somebody are putting up tickets on eBay for a movie and selling them on Craigslist for a movie for $2,500. I know people want to see it opening day, but I can't fathom that. Have you ever remember seeing something like this?
I've never seen anything like this, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't pay $2,500 for a movie ticket, because eventually we're gonna watch it, not just once, not just twice, but maybe 3-4 times. But
right, and we are gonna see it. We are going to see it, and we are going to give a reaction to it. But for people who maybe aren't doing what we're doing, who aren't covering this in the way we are, I am really shocked. And again, it just goes to the passion of Star Wars that people out there have. I've never seen something like this. Staying on the topic of the pre-sales, Karen, at Fandango, The Hunger Games, the first movie, was the number one. It had the number one spot for pre-sale tickets. Now it's Star Wars The Force Awakens. And also on top of that, AMC also has said that this is its single day record holder. Star Wars The Force Awakens is. And on top of all that, something else I don't remember ever seeing either for one specific movie, AMC is saying that they're going to stay open 24 hours. To meet the Star Wars demand.
Wow, that is crazy.
So that's another thing too, where I'm kind of surprised that these tickets are going on eBay and these tickets are going on Craigslist for so much, because you should be able to go see it somewhere. Maybe you can't see it on IMAX, maybe you can't see it on 3D, but somewhere in your city or around your area, unless you live in some really rural countryside,
Remote area.
remote area, yeah, you should be able to catch this movie. I'm thinking, if not, wow, this is heading for history. This is heading for #1 movie of all time. This is definitely going to be breaking records. Remember I brought this up a few podcasts ago, where I said that can Star Wars beat can it beat some of the more successful December movies? For example, like Titanic and like Avatar. And so far, it looks like yes. I said yes. I think you said it was going to be difficult.
Yeah, I said it was going to be difficult.
But so far, after everything we've seen, it looks like it's right on pace to do that. And, you know, the world is so different now than it was when Avatar came out, and definitely when Titanic came out. So sometimes with all the social media, with all the coverage, it's sometimes hard to see really what's happening. It's hard to use the expression to see, you know, the field from the trees. But at this point, it looks like it's all adding up to Star Wars being definitely in contention for, I'd say, the #1 spot of all time.
You know what? I'm going to have to agree with you. Before I'd be like, nah, it's not going to break those records of Avatar, Titanic, or anything like that. But now when I see all of this Star Wars mania, I'm just like, oh yeah. And I think it's even going to break the Jurassic World numbers for biggest debut. So
This is going to be the #1 movie of 2015.
Yep.
For sure, no doubt, as you would say, hands down. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. Like I said, sometimes it may die down a little further. We may, just because we're in the moment, we're feeling this way and when the numbers come out. But this to me is exciting. Movie aside, looking at the movie industry as a whole, this to me is exciting just to see how frenzied, just how these movies just keep scaling up and scaling up and scaling up and just breaking records. And there's one thing I wanted to say, and I told this to you. I remember I texted this to you, and I can't take credit for it. I have to give the credit to somebody else. I think I was on the Deadline website, and they have a comment section. And after talking about the records, because a lot of the records we stated, the Fandango and the AMC was reported by Deadline on their website. So when I was reading that, looking it over, I saw a commenter say, "The Force is strong with this trailer." Kind of, talking Jedi, talking Yoda-ese, Yoda-esque. But he's right. And I know trailers are huge, and they're becoming very huge. They're becoming an increasingly part of the marketing machine. A trailer, how it moves the meter, and how it gets the hype machine going even further. But this is on another level right here. This is on another level, and that's why I agree with what that person posted. The Force is definitely strong with this trailer.
The MegaCast, your news source for superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, action, and adventure films. From MegaMovieNews.com.